Hi again. We left off with a small overview of where and how we could use Python inside Houdini, and I wanted to get started by showing you the source editor. Let's open up and launch Houdini. I've prepared a small scene for you here with just a few nodes to illustrate my examples. One of them is a node called main, for lack of a better name. Let's go ahead and open the source editor. It's under Windows, Python source editor. If you open it for the first time, you will find the source editor to be blank. In my case, there is a print statement there, as that's how I left it last time I used it. If we would write that code and hit apply, it will print it to my Houdini console. If you were on Linux, it would print it to the terminal you're running Houdini from. Other than simple print statements, we can do other things. For example, like I said, we have a node called main, and inside is a number of nodes again. We can go ahead and create another node. We can type who.node, and then inside there, between the brackets, we want to say obj/main. As it's a string referring to the node path, it also needs to be enclosed by quotation marks to identify it as a string. Then we type .create node, and in between we specify that we want to create a null node. Again, because this is the name of a node, it needs to be in between quotation marks to identify it as a string. Now if we hit apply, we can see a null node being created for us by the code we executed from the source editor. In this way, we can create any kind of node through Python. Now let's do something else. We want to check what nodes are inside the node called main. As I said, there is a number of nodes inside and we've seen it. These nodes inside can be considered the child nodes of the node called main, where main would be their parent node. To get the list of child nodes inside, we can create a custom variable called children, or any variable really, and we can say children is who.node obj/main dot children. Again, obj/main in between quotation marks as it's a string. And then we finish with .children, which is a function that retrieves all the nodes inside there. What we've just done has attached the child nodes returned to the variable children as a data object. To separate each item in that single data object, we can loop over the data object with a for loop. We write for child in children, 4 spaces indentation on the next line, print child.name. .name is again a function that comes with Houdini, like children. So this will print the name of each of the children inside the data object attached to the variable children. Go ahead and hit apply. Now we've got the earlier print statement at the top. The reason that earlier print statement is still there is because I haven't hit clear on my console yet, and the console does not clear itself. For now, let's ignore it, and we're only looking at null1, .net1, and attrib_create1. These are the 3 child nodes inside the parent node called main. There's another very useful feature for the source editor. Sometimes the names of nodes in the Houdini Hom API deviate from their actual names. If I would want to create a node like we did before, but I don't know the name of it in the Hom, we can drag the node into the source editor. This will drop it into the source editor in who.node syntax. Then we can say print in front of it, and after it we can write .asCode, which is yet another function, which will print out the node we dragged into the source editor to your terminal or console as code. It's a bit of sifting through the output, but towards the top we should be able to find the name of the node as it is named behind the screens. In this case, the attribute create node is called attrib_create::2. You should also notice if you've typed code into the source editor and you close it, if you open it up again, it should still have your code in there. It's of course not the safest place to store your code, but it should still be there unless you remove it yourself. Like we can create nodes through Python, we can also remove them through Python with the destroy function. Let's go ahead and type in some code to remove attribute create::2. First we make a variable named nodes. We type nodes is who.node obj/main in between quotation marks in between the brackets .children like before. This will fetch the children inside the node obj/main and hook them up to the variable nodes. Now we type for node in nodes and we end with a colon. 4 spaces indentation on the next line and we type if node.name is equal to attrib_create::2 in between quotation marks to identify it as a string, colon again, and again 4 spaces of indentation on the next line. We do node.destroy. Now if we run that code, it will remove attribute create::2, and we can do the same for attribute create:3. About the code, notice that every time we do a for loop or if statement, we indent the code on the next line by 4 spaces. This way Python knows that code belongs to the for loop or if statement. This concludes my example of the source editor. In the next video, I will take you to the next example.